Good morning, folks. Welcome to Coding with Jess, where you code along with me while I build a thing. If this is your first time joining for Coding with Jess, welcome, and glad you're hanging out. So today we're going to be working on, continuing to work on the WebNative app template, which is something we've been working on for, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 weeks now. We have gotten to a point where we're basically done. I yesterday kind of put the finishing touches on building this demo application. I'll kind of show you that in our first step of working together today. And today we're going to be working on making this easy to sort of clone and go, or like make it a quick start or a speed run-able repo on GitHub, which is super fun. I don't know a whole lot about it, so we're going to be learning a lot. Like as in most Coding with Jess exercises, this is not a pre-thought through, like I didn't go and learn all the things on this and I'm going to give you a tutorial version. We're going to work on this together. We're going to learn how to build it together, and it should be fun. So thanks for hanging out. I will be watching the GitHub chat, or not GitHub chat, the YouTube chat. So if you're wanting to interact with me there, you can do that. And the other thing to know is that this is a 2-hour work block. You don't have to hang out for the whole thing. I know that's like super long. And we're going to work in 25-minute blocks. So I'll start a Pomodoro timer. We'll take we'll work focused on it for 25 minutes, then we'll take a 5-minute break, and we'll do 4 of those, which equals 2 hours of work. So without further ado, let's jump right in. Let me switch to my desktop. All right, so I figured a good place to start today would be, before we get going, let's go ahead and start our Pomodoro timer. There we go. Voito Renix Excellent Tomato 2 Pomodoro timer. All right, let's go. 25 minutes on the clock. So I think the place to start, I wanted to start out today is giving you a walkthrough of what we've built on the WebNative app template. So right now there is a repository out there on GitHub. You can go to github.com/vision-codes/WebNative app template. And we have got this to the point where we're ready to like show off what it does. You can go to webnative.netlify.app and you can go through the process of signing up with this. You'll see it's got like dark mode, light mode. You've got like a little photo demo and all that kind of stuff. But I want to start you from the very beginning. So let me go through and sort of disconnect this account. Go to application here. The only way to disconnect, one of the weird things about WebNative applications is that the way that logging out works is you actually have keys to that application that are stored in your browser's IndexedDB. And those cryptographic keys, the thing that allow you to get access to those resources, or to the web application, effectively. And so in order to log out, you have to destroy those keys. Logging out is probably a misnomer. Like you shouldn't actually think in terms of logging in, logging out, that kind of stuff. Instead, think in terms of like, do I have the key on my keychain? So I'm going to refresh the page now, and all of a sudden I am now logged out. And so I'm going to set this over here. And then I'm going to pull up another browser, put it over here on the left, and bring up. And you'll see why in just a second. Like I say, we're going to go through on this on the left over here. I'm going to hit, let me bump these up in one size. Webnative.netlify.app is where you can go try this out for yourself. All right, so we've got 2 things, one on either side here. Oh, this one's logged in too. I need to destroy all the things, delete. All right, there we go. Cool. All right, so now we've got 2 WebNative app templates up, and now I'm gonna go ahead and connect and create a new account over here. So we have this nice little create a new account thing. It's connected to Vision's staging servers right now, so you have to get the username availability is limited to usernames that are available on Vision staging servers. So I'm going to click register here. I could show you all the features, but I'm just going to walk you through sort of the golden path here. Great. So my account has been created. I now have some cryptographic keys which have given me access to a file system in WebNative that's stored in IPFS that allows me to connect to like store stuff in it. So I can also, because I have my keys stored in this browser, if this browser went away or if I deleted them, that would be a problem. And so we recommend connecting multiple devices. That way your keys are like stored in multiple places. So connect a backup device. I could take out my phone right here and scan that QR code and actually go through the connection process here. But instead, I'll copy the connection link and we'll go over to this other browser right over here, and we'll connect this way. So you'll see connections requested. Now I've got a code here, 462.337, approve the connection. Cool. All right, now I'm it's generating a file system over here on the right. Yep, and it finished. Okay, so it takes a second to generate that file system. Cool, so now we have two WebNative apps in these are different browser profiles. So think of it as like an entirely different browser or different device. Chrome has the ability to separate profiles that don't have access to the same resources. So this one is connected to, you notice we're connected, we have the same username here. And then down here you can go to photos, and we built this really simple photo upload feature. So I can come up here and upload a photo, and that uploads really quickly. It's stored in IPFS, so I can like view the static file on IPFS, can share that link with other people, and then I can delete it, download it, that kind of thing. If I refresh over here, I'll see that I actually have the file over here as well. Cool. So that's like I said, really simple. And then this, to be clear, the features of this app aren't the important thing. It's that we've built this auth flow with device linking that allows you to build your own applications. You don't need to build a photo gallery demo. In fact, we'll make it really easy to rip that out. And you can like stand this application up and build your own application on top of it. So nifty. What are we doing today? Well, if you go to the close that, open this full screen. If you go here to the GitHub repo, you'll notice that there's this big button that says use this template. So using this template, what this will do, if I click it, is it will go create kind of like a fork, but not, or kind of like a clone of this repository that has some specific functionality to it. And so I could make my own like application, WebNative photos or something like that, and then this will it will clone this repository, but we'll make a few changes to it along the way. And so what I want to do today is make this like button really useful so that we can make it like the top of the README of like, hey, here's how to get started, so that basically you can very quickly clone the application and get started. But I don't know how GitHub templates work. So that's what we're going to learn how to do today, is create a template repository and customize it. Two ways we could go about learning about this. One, we could read the docs. The other is we could just click this button and go see what it does. I think I'm going to look at the docs briefly, like scan them, not really try to understand them fully or anything like that. And then we'll click this button and see what files get copied over, what things get created in our new repository when we do it. So that's going to be my learning plan here. All right, so creating a template repository. Can make an existing repository a template so you and others can generate new repositories with the same directory structure. I wonder how you, oh, okay, under settings, you make it a template repository. All right, I think that must already be done in order for that green thing to be showing. Where is that? Let's see. Oh, right there. Template repositories let users generate new repositories with the same directory structure and files. Let me see if this says anything. All right, let me click this for creating a repository from a template. You can generate a new repository with the same directory structure. About repository templates. Anyone with read permissions can do that. You can choose to include the directory structure and files from only the default branch or to include all branches. Branches created from a template have unrelated histories, which means you cannot create pull requests from or, yeah, that's understandable. Creating a repository from a template is similar to forking, but here are the differences. All right, looks like there's 3 differences between a fork and a template. A new fork includes the entire commit history of the parent repository, while a repository created from a template starts with a single commit. Awesome. That's exactly what we want, right? Because we want to get, this is someone who's going to be building a new application on with the WebNative app template. So that's pretty cool. Commits to a fork don't appear in your contribution graph. Really? What? I did not know that. Commits to a fork don't appear in your contribution. That's so messed up. While commits to a repository created from a template do appear in your contribution graph. All right, I'm jumping on my soapbox for just a second here. Like, I have just in the last couple of weeks, I've run across several projects that are useful projects, but for whatever reason, the primary maintainer has like stepped away from the project or has stopped reviewing issues, stopped merging in pull requests, and so in order to like get bug fixes and that kind of stuff from that particular project, I had to like go surfing through all the different forks um, to find the most active fork. Which, by the way, terrible process. GitHub, if you're listening, like you should fix this. Like forks should become more. It should be easier for a fork to supersede a project that has clearly died, or even not clearly died, right? Like we should be able to jump off onto a fork. Like that's the whole beauty of open source is like, if you don't like it, fork it. But for some reason, GitHub is like totally shafted the forking experience. And this is just another way that they have done that. Commits to a fork don't appear in your contribution graph. So in other words, as someone who wants to maintain a contribution graph with like lots of green dots, which is not me. If you look at my contribution graph, mine is not littered with green dots everywhere. But if you care about that, which a lot of people need to for kind of like LinkedIn, using GitHub as LinkedIn reasons, you are disincentivized from working on your fork, even if your fork is the most active, up-to-date version of that particular library, piece of software, whatever, because the main repository has been abandoned, not like transitioned into someone's hands, but like straight up abandoned, and the only person who has access to that main repository is the primary contributor or the original contributor, and he might be gone, he might be dead, who knows. Anyway, commits to a repository created from a template do appear in your contribution graph. Well, that's very kind of you, GitHub. And then here's the third change. A fork can be a temporary way to contribute code to an existing project, while creating a repository from a template starts a new project quickly. A fork can be a temporary way to contribute code to an existing project. Something to think about there is like, this is GitHub's understanding of what forks are. Creating a temporary way to contribute code to an existing project. All right, well, whatever. Enough about forks. We care about templates. So this is the flow that we're going to go through. These are screens from the flow that we're going to go through here in a second to create a template. Like I mentioned, I think the next way we're going to learn about this is just going over to click this button and see what it does. But I was wondering if there's the ability to customize which files are included. And maybe we can, maybe there's a, I expected there to be more info here, creating a template repo. So we may have to do some things with that make it fast without the help of GitHub, which is fine. That's fine. All right, so let's go through and use this feature and see what it does. Use this template, and we're gonna make this. I guess I'm gonna customize this into, I guess a photo sharing app, since WebNative photo sharing. All right, and then we'll go to public. I don't want to include all the branches for now. Nope, or sorry, do not want to include all branches for now. Creating a public repository on my account. Great. I don't think I'm going to name it Shiny Garbanzo. I think I'm going to go with WebNative photo sharing. Create repository from template. Go. Dum, 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 dum. Generating your repository. All right, we have it up, and it checks, it looks like it checks everything in as initial commit, which is a fine place to start. Let's see. Let's see. Okay, so what files are here and what files are not here? It looks, at first glance, it looks like just about everything is here. This package, package lock, a web app template for WebNative. README looks the same. The GitHub has the pull request template in it. Yep, it's got the whole source file. static files with the fave icon and all the things. Okay, so this pretty much has everything. Let's go through and start customizing this, and we'll just make a list in this customize section. So my goal is to make it really fast. Again, goal is to make it really fast for people to build custom applications using the WebNative app template. So what we probably need to do is have a sort of a checklist of things. Like once you've created it as a template, then here are the things you need to do to make it your own. So let's go ahead and do that ourselves, and then we'll make a list here in this README, and then maybe we can like push that we can push that to the main WebNative template app demo README. All right, so let's go ahead and grab this locally. Clone. Already in a file here. Let's get clone that. CD WebNative photo sharing. And then we'll open a new tab. We'll start out with an npm install. I'm going to go ahead and open it in VS Code. Push it over here to the left for now. npm install is ticking away. Ooh, the npm install is taking a while. Let's see, package.json. I wonder if there's anything in package.json. So starting right at the top, you'll definitely want to change your WebNative app template, or sorry, the name of the application. So let me go to README. Actually, I don't want to change the README here because this is the README for our clone. We actually want to change the README for the top level application. So what I'm going to do is, I think, is Z working now? CD ... into the WebNative app template. And I have the most recent changes. Oh. I downloaded this new experimental editor called Z, and I can't remember if it's working now on this machine or not. No, it does not appear to be working. Well, that won't it. We'll just open this in a different code window. Close the thing on the side there. Open README. And now customize. Just start adding stuff to the bottom here. Actually, I want to go through these that are already here. So I'm going to start at the top, and then we'll go through these ones down here at the bottom in a second. Change the name in package.json. All right, so we'll call this photo sharing, WebNative photo sharing. Is there anything else in here that I need to customize? Don't think so. As long as we're including all of the functionality that we've already included, we'll need all this stuff. So let's go ahead and leave that all there. All right, and then that's package.json. Now we should be able to do an npm run dev. Start the local server. All right, it has started. There we go. Cool. That took a little bit to run. I'm not sure if that was like Vite auto-generating all the things, but there we go. And it shows me as already connected. Why would it do that? Let's think about that for a second. Okay, so I had already been working on localhost on a separate WebNative app. Ah, I know why. The configuration is based on the Fission connection is based on some things in the WebNative file. So that would be under source lib auth, I think, maybe, or common. There it is, common WebNative. All right, let me look through this. I think there's going to be something in here. All right, so a couple things here. This is our staging setup. That user piece, I'm not sure about. I need to ask Brian about that, whether we need to change that or not. But API and lobby, this is staging. So we'll probably want to point these things at production, but I'm not sure that production has the ability to run this stuff yet. All right, let's make a list of questions. Let's see. This would be in lib common webnative.ts. Do we need to change the user in the endpoints configuration? Should we instruct them to change over to using production? Does production have the necessary code running on it? I don't know about that. I know we made some changes to the way that the WebNative library and the Fission server works in order to support this release and support this demo or this set of technology, whatever. So I don't know if that's actually pushed out to production or not, which will be interesting to find out. But what's going on here is there should be somewhere that we're naming the application, which is WebNative check. Huh. Still a little confused here. So I have keys that are mapped to a Fission account, and that Fission account is already so the obvious and like really destructive solution here would be to destroy my keys, right? I would come in here and I would just delete all these databases. The problem with that is that as a user, I might actually have a legitimate reason. I might have an account with a Fission, another Fission application that I want to keep. And so I guess maybe it's based on IP, or not, sorry, not IP. Maybe it's based on the URL of the server that's connecting to Fission. Like, how does it identify that this user belongs to this application? Which I've just never been in this sort of like multi-application single login state before, so it feels really weird. Let's see. This stuff is not it. I don't think it's in account linking. None of that. It's got to be in this webnative.ts. And this doesn't pull in app name. So I guess a couple of things we could try. I could try starting beat.js pick port. I bet I can guess how to do this. So let me see. What happens if I started a different port? Dash port 5175. Okay, that's not it. Server options for Vite port. There we go. Ooh, I could set the host to 0000 as well. That is not exactly the same as localhost, but I'm curious whether it would kick over a change. So let's try that. Dash host 00000. What? Port. I just used dash host. Do I need to do I have to put it in a different place? Maybe help here. npm run dev. That's weird. Let's see. Svelte kit on different port. Let's try that real quick. Changing dev and preview ports. Oh my gosh, I don't need an entire video for this. Just give me the command. Oh, you do it in the Vite config. Alrighty, so we are coming up on our first Pomodoro break. So yeah, we're looking into having a quick start. Here's a list of the things you need to change to use the WebNative app template. And we've run across this problem where I'm already logged in. I already have keys from a separate WebNative app. And so I could just sort of, what I probably would do when we get back from this break is I'll just delete my keys and we'll start from there, like a clean state. But we'll just make a note to ask Brian and or the Fission team how we get around that. All right, so 5-minute break. We'll be back in 5 to do another 25-minute work block. See you guys in a few. Hey folks, welcome back to Coding with Jess. We're now about to start Pomodoro 2 of 4, and I'm going to keep working on building the making the WebNative app template speed runnable. So here we go. Let's jump into Pomodoro number 2, 25 minutes on the clock. All right. So localhost 5.1. Let's go ahead. So what we were noticing before is, or what we ran into, is that I had already authed this localhost device with the WebNative app template from another device. Or sorry, not another device, another repository, and we kind of want that to not happen. Like, it's possible that they'll have multiple WebNative apps that they're working on simultaneously. Yeah, there's some weird stuff around app ownership here. So I mentioned that what we probably should do is just document that. What happens if the developer has already authed their browser with a different web native application on localhost? How do we recognize that? All right, so something to talk about with the team. There's got to be a better way to handle that, and I'm not exactly sure. Sort of like, what's the... Actually, I'm going to list this as a question. How do we resolve or scope the username and key lookup? Okay, something interesting to dig into there. Alrighty, so then we are, like I said, we're already authed. I already showed you how I could go into IndexedDB under, just in case you're following along at home and it just went a little bit fast. Under the application menu, this should be in Chrome and in Firefox in the same place. You can go to IndexedDB, not local storage, not session storage, but actual IndexedDB, and there'll be a whole bunch of databases in there. You can come through and click through and delete each one of those databases. Once you've deleted all those, if you refresh the page, you will now be logged out, or you will not have any of the keys you need to connect to this application. So then, what was I doing before we were doing that? We change the user and the endpoint configuration. Should we interact with them? So I think I was just running the application to make sure that it actually runs, which it does, which is good. So now let's go through, and one of the most important changes is we have a file called libappname, and you can change this web native photo sharing, and you will get all of the changes. Yay, web native photo sharing, web native photo sharing. And so as you go through, connect to web native photo sharing, all of these instances were using that single string, and so a lot of the UI just updated appropriately, including the title up here. Pretty nifty. So that change, oops, I'm gonna move that up a little bit. Oops, I wish I could disable prettier for this file. I gotta do that right now. So I want to be able to just sort of seamlessly move this around. You know what? I'm gonna make a bare note and do it. No, just leave it here. Leave it here. All right. So then in app HTML, we need to go through and make some changes. The web native template. Dadgummit. I wonder if there's a way to get what we want in here. I'm not sure. Man, it'd be nice if we could change this URL in all the places, but I don't know that we can. Okay, so I guess I'll make a note here under app HTML. pull the app name. Let's see. You know what? Let's go see if we can. SvelteKit, HTML. Customizing app HTML at runtime. Works by starting with a static HTML, app HTML file into which it's hydrated during server-side rendering. Hooks.js. Wait, what are we talking about here? Okay. All right, back in our custom handle hook. Export async function handle from hooks.js handle hook. So we might be able to handle this. Nope, that is not in the files anymore. Handle. Here we go. This function runs every time the SvelteKit server receives a request, whether that happens while the app is running or during pre-rendering. Cool, so this does support pre-rendering, an important thing because all of our WebNative app templates are pre-rendered. And this determines the response. Handle. Yeah, this might actually work. We might be able to put together a handle function that is the app name, that returns the app name. Here we go. Here's an example that transforms a chunk of the HTML from old to new. This tells SvelteKit to look for our custom hooks file, hooks implementation. Now we get to the fun part. Determine the input args for skin lookup. Get skin, request host, request path. What do you mean skin HTML? I guess the skin HTML that they're referring to is the actual app HTML file, maybe? Something like that. All right, get the skin HTML. I'm making an HTML. Oh my goodness. So like they're totally replacing the image, yeah, we don't want to go this far. The HTML fragments and before and after. Yeah. This is, here we go. This is what I'm looking for. So TPL dot before, TPL dot head. And so what we want, so it's possible that we could pull, what if we just pull these things into head to begin with? I wonder if we could just use SvelteKit.head to get all the right things in the head. Yeah, it looks like we might be able to do that. There's Svelte head. Here we go. So that injects the title. So we could also inject the rest of the things. Okay, so let's try this out one by one. Well, we don't need title in here because we have the title in there. We could move this into here and fill it with app name. All right, now let's go over here and we'll watch these things change. Let's open the head here. There we go. OG title, WebNative photo sharing. Cool. All right. So we can grab even these descriptions and image alts. Interesting. Yeah. So we could move a lot more of this stuff into. All right, cool. So now that I've gone through and seen how we can customize this, that makes, we should definitely customize, pull the, answer is yes. We should pull all of the things into svelte head in the layout file, which is in slash, let's see, slash lib slash routes slash layout. Source lib routes. No, it's not lib. Sorry. Source routes underscore layout dot svelte. Yeah, so that'll be much better. In fact, maybe we should just go ahead and pull this whole set of things. And then move that up to there. And then here we will put all of those things. Oops, I shouldn't have overridden that. Let me see. Back to app HTML, I need to grab that stuff. All right, and then we'll paste it over here. There we go. And now I'll move that up. Whoops. Okay, and then in SvelteKit head here, got the app name. So some of these things don't need to be customized, so they could technically be in share photos with WebNative. Will be our app description, and we can import that as well. And then for the actual description here, we'll put app description. And for this one as well, app description. All right, robots index, the viewport, URL. Yeah, that. I mean, we could add that here as well. Export const app URL. And then actually we should do all these as a single import. App description, app URL, all those together, and then down here we can app URL. So website, and I'm not going to do the image for now. The image alt. I guess we can use the app name. Yeah. We're going to need to have them customize their own. Oh, let's put that in the list here. Let's see. Generate a, and I think they had maybe a description here. A Twitter / social media embed image. There's a way to do that. We'll look up how that works later. The Twitter card, same thing. The title here, app name. Twitter description should also be app description. And then Twitter image, again, that's to do. And the image alt can also be app name. Cool. All right, so let me resave that and come over here. Let's look at the content that got generated. Huh, interesting. It put the svelte head after the other stuff. I guess that's fine. I wish the order was a little different, but that'll be fine. It's all in the head. And the nice thing is we got all of these things customized, photo sharing, all from the variables that we have in app name. So we can also add app name or app description and app URL to app-name.ts, which we should probably rename to app info, something like that. Yeah, that's a pretty convenient pattern. We used to have something like that when it came to Rails applications. There was like a config file that would allow you to rename the application, rename, like set the URL and that kind of stuff. Like this URL should probably be, URL should be dependent on the environment, staging or production. Cool. So when we do the staging production configuration, which we have a separate task for, we can do that. All right. Cool. So we customized app HTML, customized the app name. We've changed the package JSON. And what else can we do? Customize the application's Tailwind theme. Go to Tailwind config. Oh, I know. We're not going to change the theme right now, but we're going to need to replace the fave icon in layout. No, in app HTML. Actually, I guess you need to just replace the icons themselves. You don't have to replace the, they're in static. You can follow the format that we used. I specified in app HTML. Where is it? Here. Cool. All right, follow the instructions in that blog post. So that's new fave icon. All righty, then what else do we want to customize? I guess I don't want this about block. That would be under, I think that's layout index.svelte. All right. So customize index.svelte to remove the template info. I guess we could, it'd be nice to include something like this, like delete from here when customizing or something like that. And then I could down here put like delete to here. Oh, look, an empty style tag should probably be moved out. I come over here and let's see, index.svelte. Delete that. Okay, so probably gonna go through and delete all this. Oh, the interesting thing, when we do that, almost all of this stuff can get gone as well. Huh. So then, really, it's pretty much like delete the whole file. What happens if I do that? Let's just try it real quick. I'll comment it out instead of deleting it. I'll delete this too. Oops. Meant to hit delete. I hit S. Okay, now what happens if I go here? Yeah, just a blank page. I think that's pretty much it. You just want to clear out the entire index.svelte file. Excuse me. Everything in index.svelte. So now we've got our, I guess we need to change out our photo icon. We've got, yeah, you can still go through and create a new account. All that's working. Got the, well, let's go create an account real quick. So I think that's pretty much, so the other thing we'll want to go to is the /gallery route, which I don't think it'll let you go there. Yeah, it redirects you back here if you haven't logged in. All right, so this is going to be Jess Martin, like 142, 143. There we go. Register. Cool, that worked. You don't need a password. WebNative photo sharing uses public key cryptography to authenticate you with this device. Okay, continue. Your WebNative photo sharing account and its data lives only on your devices. We highly recommend connecting your account on at least one more device so that you have a backup. Connect a backup device. Connection link. Let's open another thing over here. 849.173. Approve the connection. You've connected a backup device. Awesome. And now I should be able to get to the gallery. Cool. All right. So I now have I should have picked something other than like photo sharing, I think. Just because I really want to think about the case where I actually want to delete the gallery entirely. And I think it would just be deleting gallery. If you don't want the gallery functionality, delete, let's see, source routes gallery.svelte. Source components gallery. I think that's pretty much it. and live gallery. Oh boy. Okay, cool. We're at the end of Pomodoro 2 of 4 Pomodoros. So we're 1 hour into this coding session. Got 1 hour left. I'll be back in 5 more minutes. And after this 5 minute break, we will continue working on customizing the WebNative template and kind of putting together an instruction set that'll allow us to go through and very quickly allow people to build things with WebNative app template. Cool. See you guys in 5 minutes. What's up, folks? Welcome back to Coding with Jess, and we're 1 hour into our 2-hour work block coding on the WebNative app template. We're going to do two more pomodoros, 1 more hour of work, and yeah, let's jump right in. All right, so back to where we were. So we've been using the WebNative app template we've created a template repository using GitHub's like create template button, and now we're trying to customize it to make it our own. And as we've been going through and customizing it, we've been making a list of things that would need to be changed in order to customize it. And the goal is to move these into the README for WebNative app template, and that way when they come in, when someone downloads or creates a template for it, they have like a step-by-step set of steps that they can follow to build their own WebNative app. So making progress on that. One thing that we were noticing, or the WebNative app template includes an entire photo gallery functionality. So you can like have public files, private files, you can upload photos and all that kind of stuff. And what you may or may not want that you probably don't want that in your own application, but it does serve as a really nice sort of example of using the WebNative file system library and all that kind of stuff. So we're including it as sort of a teaching opportunity for you to be able to like go through that code and learn about it. But if you're building your own application, you're probably going to want to remove it. So what all do you need to remove? Looks like there's a couple of different places where things are. One, there's the gallery route overall that you want to remove. So we'll go ahead and click here to delete that file. You'll want to remove all the components that are used there. Those are all inside of source gallery. Delete that. You'll also want to remove the lib file that has all the gallery stuff in it, of like extra library code that enables it to work. That. And then finally, there's a stores file. Stores are how SvelteKit stores information and allows you to do there's a term I'm thinking of, it totally slipped my mind right now. But anyway, state management, that's the word. This is how SvelteKit does state management, allowing you to store things locally in memory and then use them across the single page application. So that there's a couple things you'll want to delete here. The 2 imports, and then the gallery store itself. So we'll probably want to add a like delete me and maybe move it to the bottom. So I noticed that here. Move the gallery store to the bottom. And flag it for deletion. Now another option would be to actually move these stores out of the stores file entirely, which is the sort of the common place where you would expect to find them, and move them instead into the gallery directory, the lib directory. That would be a little unusual, but it would also encapsulate the files better. And make it easier to delete them if you're move into lib/gallery. So I'll make that, bring that up as a conversation with the team. Okay, cool. Once we've done all of that, we have our working WebNative application. Or not. I probably need to npm run dev here. Come on, baby. Are you working for me? Let's hit the console, see if we got an error here. Looks like there's a problem in layout. Well, that's what we're trying to discover here. Are we deleting the right things? Everything looks fine. Source routes. Source lib gallery. WebNative.ts. What? Oh, interesting. That's not going to be fun. Yep, so there's a little bit more that has to be deleted. We should probably move that out into the gallery. How are we going to handle that? So what's going on here is that when you bootstrap the file system for a web native application, you specify a couple of directories that you want to create on behalf of the file system. Or sorry, on behalf of the application. And so with this web native app template being an example of a photo sharing application so that you can kind of see how to use it, when we do the, let's see, I think it's in the initialize. No, it's in register. In the register function, we actually bootstrap the root file system here, and then we create these to the public and private directories. We're probably going to want to move that out of this general web native register and have this be something that happens specifically inside the gallery lib file. That way you don't have to come in and know to delete these two, or these like random lines in here and delete this stuff from up here. So we'll want to move that out as well. Some stuff is in, we just said that was source lib gallery. Oh, it's Andy's in the chats right now. I was asked to add those make durs there, but I don't think we actually need them because the directories are auto created when a file's upload. Maybe good to double check though. Cool. Yeah, I'll definitely, we should definitely give that some thought, Andy. It's like, what I'm trying to do is minimize the sort of surface area of the demo functionality. That way, if someone wants to like strip the code back to like just the things that they want of like authentication, device linking, and that kind of stuff, they can get back to sort of a clean state very easily. Another way that we could handle this overall is we could have a branching strategy for the different templates. So a good example of a project that does this well is, and it's totally gonna, what is it? Ethereum Scaffold ETH. There's a nice project out there called Scaffold ETH, and what they do is they maintain a branch for each of the different example use cases of Scaffold ETH, and then they have sort of the core Scaffold ETH repository has like the general stuff. Pretty neat little way to do it. It kind of seems like it would be a pain at some point to like maintain a branching strategy. So I think what we're doing right now is fine, probably. So back over here, we have, like I mentioned, we've got some stuff in source lib. That was web native, I think. Lib common. We're creating make dir ings directories. Andy thinks those are auto-created. No need to create here. Cool. All right. Well, hopefully that's true. We can check on that. So let me I'll go delete line 6 here, and then we'll go down to those make dirs and delete those. And then now let's see if our application actually runs. Localhost 5174. Cool. All right, great. Right. So we now have a web native photo sharing app, or a like default app that has dark mode, has authentication, all the things, and has device linking, but has no additional functionality. So this is basically, we've stripped it back to, and then we've also customized the app name and all the things so that we can basically get started using this. Now, as going through the rest of the files, I think we should probably just start from the top, go through all the files, and just make sure that there's not something else that we missed that either it needs customization. We've already been through the entire UI and kind of see now that we're back to this sort of very basic point of where we could start building up an application on top of this. But let's go through all the files and make sure we didn't miss anything. So we got source, components, auth. These are part of the backup flow. So when we're asking you telling you should back up your device, those are done here. And this is the "Are you sure" screen of like, are you sure you want to not back up? Because you really should. Andy in chat says one solution could be to structure the app using domain-driven design too. So we could just stick all the gallery code in a single directory aside from the primitives it imports. That's a great idea. For those of you who are not familiar with domain-driven design, there's a famous book that looks like this. Actually, I could flip to that. Domain-driven design by Eric Evans. And what he's talking about in DDD is taking the domain of the software that you're working in and modeling everything off of that. So you use language that is specific to the domain that you're working in, even for things like class names and variable names. And then you also structure your code base in a way that instead of having code be about the function of the code, this code is for the front end, this code is for the back end, this is my database code, which is kind of how we often organize our repositories. You could instead organize it around the specifics for that domain. Andy says, I'm going to get back to his vacation. Yes, Andy, please get back to your vacation. Go hang out. I thank you for hanging out for a little bit on YouTube for during your vacation. But yeah, take a look at this stuff when we get back tomorrow. So what Andy's suggesting is, instead of the way we have it currently organized, where we have under source, we have component libs and routes. Components lib and routes, not libs. Although I guess it technically should be libs, but no, historical reasons it's called lib. Anyway, so the components are routes are the actual pages. We probably won't be able to use DDD here just because the way that SvelteKit works is based on this. These routes are meaningfully important. But I do think we could pull more stuff into the lib and the lib directory for gallery and like pull it out so that that it's more contained. That's a good suggestion. All right, so source, components, auth. We just talked about auth backup. Let's talk about auth connect. So auth connect is the code that allows you to connect two devices so that you can send the keys back and forth between those two things. Then there's auth link, which is actually that linking screen where it's the two sides of the linking screen. So on one side, remember there was a pin displayed. On the other side, there was a pin being entered. That's link account and delegate account. I don't think there's anything that needs to be customized on those. We were pretty good about using sort of app name as the string everywhere we could. Register this is sort of the beginning of the flow. When you come in and you have not connected yet, there'll be a connect button in the top right hand corner. You'll click connect, and then it takes you through this registration flow. This is where the username is checked and that kind of stuff. Notice that, again, we're including app name here. So as long as you customize that app name string, you're going to get a really nice app name change all the way across the whole application. And then the welcome screen is just, I think if I go to welcome now, let me see, / where are our routes? Yeah, if I go to / register right now, I'll be redirected to the welcome screen, I believe. Yeah. Whoa, that little blip. I hate that little blip. Did you guys see that? So when I hit refresh here, it for a moment shows me, it's actually loading the cool. Andy in chat says, in the new Svelte version, files in the routes directory are no longer assumed to be routes. Woo! So that could also become our gallery domain. Awesome. Nice. Yeah, there's been some new work in Svelte and SvelteKit that I have not followed up on in the last few weeks. So that could allow for some additional customization. And then I think we're planning on updating the app to the new version next week. And yes, please do go, Andy. Enjoy your vacation, man. Cool. So yeah, there's a little blip here that kind of kind of annoying. It's kind of a special case. It's not like you're going to get redirected to the register. But what's going on here is it's checking to see if you're authed, and there's no way to check and see if you're authed other than to like ask the server if these set of keys have the authentication privileges. I don't fully understand that, but kind of bugs me that we have like that little blip where it shows you your username as if you're going to register, and then it takes you over here to the welcome screen. Skip for now. Oh, that's funny. That's a bug, actually. So what happened there was, in order to close the register screen, I'm already logged in. The only thing I can do is click continue. So when I click continue, it takes me to the backup your account screen, which I've already backed up my account over here, you might remember, right? Because I got a welcome here. Sorry, register here. After the blip, you'll see Jess Martin 143. So I'm connected on Jess Martin 143 here and here. And so there's, when I click connect a backup device, sorry, the only way to go forward here is either to click connect or to skip for now. When you click skip for now, we take you to this screen where we're like really trying to like remind you or like let you know the ramifications of your actions. Like, please connect a backup device. I've already connected one. And so I'll just click YOLO. I'll risk just one device for now. So this whole screen is kind of wrong in the case where I've already connected, but I got into this flow in kind of a weird way. But when I clicked YOLO, I got this backup recommended up here at the top of the screen, which is pretty neat because we're actually storing that backup recommended thing in WebNative. And so it also appeared over here, but that's wrong. I've already connected in 2 places. So I'm going to just make a note of that as like a bug here. When you go to /register after connecting a second device, the only way out of that flow, other than manually entering a different URL, is to YOLO, which will then throw a backup recommended into the header. Whoops. Probably need to add a cancel out of this screen or something. We need to change this flow and check to see if you've already got backup. All right, so back over here, we were going from the top down all the way through to see if there's anything else we need to customize. We have a loading spinner here, which you can load, that's in common. We've got a bunch of icons. Icons. So here's where you would actually swap out the brand is, and I think a couple of these might actually be used in the gallery only. So that's good to know. So a couple things, let's see. App logo can be customized in source, components, icons, brand. Target a 35 by 35. I'll just say target an image that is 35 pixels high. Cool. Okay, so yeah, you'll want to change out the brand. I don't have one right now. We've got check icon. We've got a thin check icon. I'm trying to remember which one of these icons is used in the gallery. We could just leave them all in here for now and it'd probably be fine. The shield's used in the backup thingy that we were just talking about. That's the shield. The welcome check icon was this icon right there. There's an X icon and an X thin icon. One of these is used in the gallery. We can go look and find out. Notification, we have notification, notifications, and toast. One of the things I noticed while I was going through this is While I was doing some code review the other day, is that we'll probably want to... What? Why is that failing? Close that out. We'll probably want to get rid of toast and refactor that to use notification instead. But for now, this is fine. Under header, let's see if there's anything that needs to change in here. Got the session store loading button. All good there. Dark mode, light mode switcher. There's the theme setter. There's our brand and our app name. All looks good. Under lib auth, backup is fine. Linking is fine. Common, we've got an example.test.ts. That might be helpful to have example of working tests here. So that might be something we go back in and add. Utils, async debounce. Huh. I wonder if either of these, I bet these utils are specific to the gallery. That's my guess. Well, let's look. See, async, no, async debounce was one that we're using for input debouncing. Okay, we're using that one elsewhere. How about convert uint 8? Yep. All right, that one is specific to the gallery. And then UUID. Okay, we use that one in notifications. So then I'll just make a note of this, and not as big of a deal, but we might move this back into gallery. What is the function called? Convert uint 8 to string in lib. Where was it? Common. Utils.ts. Cool. Alrighty. WebNative, we already commented on the changes that need to be made to that file. There's the theme that allows us to store the light and dark theme in local storage. We added some stuff to app name. Device is mobile. Are we actually using device anywhere? Okay. Yeah, we are. Device store. Ah, okay, cool. So we set it there. All right. Alrighty. Then WebNative app name device notifications.ts. We already talked about that one. Session.ts. Yeah, this is this weird view switcher thing we're doing. All right, layout. Backup. These are the different routes that we're using, which we use all of each one of these routes, which is nice. Then we have app HTML, which is now pretty minimal. I think that BG white is wrong up there. Yeah, might go remove that over here. Index, no, this is app HTML. All right, remove that. Global CSS, these are some global overrides that we're using to make things look nice. Tried to keep those as minimal as possible to make this super easy to customize. This SSR false is interesting. I think this could be why the Netlify stuff worked by default, is that we're not doing any server-side rendering. Anyway, all right, then we've already talked about customizing. Excuse me, we already talked about customizing our store. We have some files in static that you would need to replace in order to have a different icon. Then we've got some ESLint stuff, git ignore, prettier RC. Oh, the license. It's MIT licensed by default. And wait, there's an Apache license too? Wait, to do remove once static preview PNG. Okay, which we removed. So looks like that notice can be removed as well. Go through here, delete that. Alrighty, we're at the end of Pomodoro 3. I'm going to take a quick 5-minute break and we'll be back for one more 25-minute work session before we wrap up for today. So enjoy the break, go outside, go breathe fresh air, look at some trees, look up at the sky, get away from your computer for 5 minutes. I'm going to do the same thing, and I will be back in 5 minutes. See you in a few minutes. All right, welcome back to Coding with Jess, where we are now about to wrap up with our last Pomodoro of the day. 25 more minutes. We've been working on the WebNative app template, basically making it really easy to customize that that tool and build your own WebNative app with it. So without further ado, let's jump right back in. 25 more minutes on the clock, and then we'll be done for today. So quick recap of what we've done so far. There was a brief list in the GitHub repo for the WebNative app template on how to customize this app for your liking. So yeah, it was just like a couple things like, hey, change the SEO meta tags, choose a better application name, that kind of stuff, and how to customize the theme. We now have a much more complete list of things that need to be done. These need to be turned into some form of they need to be made a little bit more readable, and especially like be something that you could just like punch list follow. Like, I'm gonna do this, now I'm gonna do this, now I'm gonna do this, bam, 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 go down through the list. So that will require writing, which requires a different mental space for me than like writing code and that kind of stuff. So I'm gonna leave these as a to-do list for right now. I'm gonna check into the WebNative app template README, and then we can turn them into something that's like nice and readable. But the reality is it's actually a pretty short list. We probably want to make it a little bit easier to remove the gallery functionality, but a lot of the things on this list are gallery stuff. But like if we were to group things together, let's see. Rename the application. So if you were to update to your application name, and then the other thing would be app logo, customize your app's logo, and you'd need to do those things, and replace the fave icon. So that's what that list of things is. And then this would be customize the look and feel. Then remove non-auth, remove all functionality not related to auth or device linking. Would be these things. Remove everything in index.svelte, the gallery functionality, and that's pretty much it. Yeah, rename to your application, customize your app's logo, customize look and feel. So yeah, this would be a pretty quick process to get started. I could see how. I wonder if no package JSON is like a special case. Don't worry about that one. So basically, you have to change your app name in like 2 places, and then you're done. And then this app HTML change, I'm going to see if we can make that change in our WebNative app template, so you won't have to. This won't even be on the list, really. This will be. Let me move this down here. Right, and then customizing your app's logo, new logo in app logo SVG, social media image, embed image, replace the fave icon. Probably won't need to customize the look and feel. Cool. Yeah, this is actually pretty great. It'll basically be like rename your app, package JSON and app name TS. Customize the logo, fave icon, and SVG. Remove index H. I wonder if we could even write a script for this. It's like just like a little bash script that removes the gallery stuff all in one go. But then it's like step 4, add your stuff. So yeah, this is pretty great. Like you'll grab the app as a template app, and then you can very quickly go through and customize this stuff, and even like connect to Netlify and deploy really quickly. Because the Netlify deploy I learned last night is basically 0 configuration. So this, like in terms of getting a web native application up and running for like a hackathon or something, this is a pretty slick. This will be a pretty slick process. It'll just be kind of boom, boom, boom. I think maybe next time, either next Wednesday. I'm trying to think. Next Wednesday I'll be at the beach, which I may do a live streaming session from the beach. I've done that a couple times. It's fun. It's a little different backdrop. Don't have the whole office set up here with my fancy camera and my fancy lights and all that stuff and my whiteboard. So I may do that next week. We'll see. But what I'd like to do is record a couple of speedrun videos of like building, X kind of web native application, and just really quickly yeah, I think I could get it down to, especially if I had already written the code for the web native functionality, could get it down to, like 5 or 10 minutes for building a web native app from scratch, which would be pretty sweet. Casper says beach, exclamation points. Yeah, very excited to go to the beach with my family. We do this for every year for about a week. Cool. And then there's a couple of changes that I need to make in the top level web native template app, and there's a couple questions that I now have about how like the resolution of like different keys and that kind of stuff. And man, this is funny. Casper says he's been catching up on Fission finally and got it running in his browser. Awesome. And yes, that was while we were building dark mode last week. Yeah, I definitely encourage you guys to try the web native app template out. It's pretty good already. We haven't like formally released it yet. We were trying to get it ready for Cascadia JS, which is happening right now in out in near Bend, Oregon. So if you're at Cascadia right now or around that area, you should run around. You should drop by, meet with Jeff and Brian and Brooke, who are all there from Fission, and who will be glad to show you more Fission cool stuff. So this looks pretty cool. I think I actually might call it a little bit early here, because we finished our list of things, and I've got a list of like writing type stuff now to go back to the main crew with around this. And yeah, it's been a fun day of working on this. Thanks for those of you who are hanging out with me working on coding stuff. I'll likely be back again next Wednesday, but certainly if not next Wednesday, the following Wednesday. And yeah, we'll have something new to work on then, since we've been wrapping up this web native app template over the last week or so. So have a great rest of your Wednesday, and we'll talk more soon.